Everyone. I'll be solving the PSAT Practice 2, the digital version, today. I will be doing a walkthrough of the math portion, and we'll get started. So number one, what is a positive solution to the given equation? Okay, so all you got to do is take out the bars and write x plus 45 is equal to 48. And if you solve for x, we get 3. So A is the correct answer. Number two, the solution to the given system of equations is x comma y. What is the value of y? All you got to do is put the 4 inside the x here, and it becomes y equals 5 minus 4. What is 5 minus 4? That's 1, so A is the correct answer. A mixture consisting of only vitamin D and calcium has a total mass of 150 grams. The mass of vitamin D in the mixture is 50 grams. What is the mass in grams of calcium in the mixture? So let's write this out. D plus C is equal to 150. And we know that the mass of vitamin D is 50 grams. So 50 plus C is equal to 150. So if we solve for C, we get 100, right? So C is the correct answer. A contract for a certain service requires a one-time activation cost of $35 and a monthly cost of $23. Which equation represents the situation where C is the total cost in dollars of this service contract for T months? So when you see this term, one-term activation cost, immediately what you would do is write down 35 here. And then I see another keyword, monthly cost. So it means that the 23 is not alone. I need to multiply the 23 by a monthly cost. So T is here, right? And this is the total cost. So what's the correct answer? C is the correct answer. Okay, the function f is defined by f of x is equal to 3x minus 8. What is the value of f of 7? Just put the 7 inside here. What is 3 times 7? That's 21. 21 minus 8, that's 13. So B is the correct answer. The y-intercept of the graph shown as x comma y. What is the value of y? So when I say y-intercept, I'm looking for the y value when x is equal to 0. So when x is equal to 0, if I look at my graph, the y is 40. So 40 is the correct answer. What value of x is the solution to the given equation? Well, this is easy. X plus 130 is 260. Obviously, 260 minus 130 is 130, so 130 is the correct answer. A geologist needs to collect at least 67 samples of lava from the volcano. So at least means greater or equal to some value. So in this case, 67. If the geologist has already collected 63 samples from the volcano, what is the minimum number of additional samples the geologist need to collect? So in order to go from 63 to 67, you would need 4 more, right? So C is the correct answer. Each of 157 gemstones can be classified as one of 3 classifications as shown in the frequency table. If one of the gemstones is selected at random, what is the probability of selecting a gemstone of color Y? So you have 3 over here, and then I have 157 gemstone, right? So what this means is 3 over 157, so A is the correct answer. The shaded region shown represents the solution to which inequality? So, as you can see here, uh, what we have to do is my my instinct is like since we have all the same slopes, we need to look at the y-intercept. So when x is equal to 0, we know that y is equal to minus 6. So B, C, and D are immediately eliminated. and we have A. In the triangle ABC, AB is equal to 4,680 millimeters and BC is 4,680 millimeters. Which statement is sufficient to prove that triangle ABC is equilateral? Equilateral means all sides of the triangle has to be equal. And B, C, and D, they're not 4,680 millimeters, so I could immediately eliminate these guys and choose the answer choice A. The function P gives the predicted population in millions of a certain country for the period from 1984 to 2018, where T is the number of years after 1984. According to the model, what is the best interpretation of the statement P of 8 is approximately equal to 32.91? So what this means is since 1984 is when the function begins, so 8 years after 1984, the prediction population of the country was approximately 32.91 million. So C is the correct answer. T is given as a function of time, which in this case is years. So obviously, I need to look for 8 years. So C, answer choice C has that. So this is immediately the correct answer. A right circular cylinder has a volume of 377 cubic centimeters. The area of the base of the cylinder is 13 square centimeters. What is in centimeters of the cylinder? So a right circular cylinder, the volume for that is pi r squared times h, and this has a volume of 377 cubic centimeters. And the area of the base of the cylinder, so pi r squared, this is 13. So 13h is equal to 377. If you solve for h, you get an answer of 29. So 29 is the correct answer. The list gives the mass in grams of 5 Alpine marmots. What is the mean mass in grams of these Alpine marmots? So add all of this together and divide it by 5 because mean means the total divided by the number of items. And what you get is 3,630 as your final answer. A solution to the given system equation is x comma y. What is the value of x, y? So we have x is 3, y is 12 squared. So that's 144. What's 3 times 144? That's 432. So A is the correct answer. What is the value of cosine A in the triangle shown? So cosine is adjacent over the hypotenuse. So 41 over 42. So B is the correct answer. Cosine is adjacent over the hypotenuse. A circle has a radius of 43 meters. What is the area in square meters of the circle? So area of a circle is pi r squared. So what is 43 squared times pi? That is going to be 1849 pi, so D is the correct answer. An object has a mass of 168 grams and a volume of 24 cubic centimeters. What is the density in grams per cubic centimeters of the object? So density is mass per volume. So we have 168 divided by 24. What is 168 divided by 24? That is 7. So A is the correct answer. A company has a newsletter. In January 2018, there were 1,300 customers subscribed to the newsletter. For the next 24 months after January, the total number of customers subscribed to the newsletter each month was 7% greater than the total number subscribed the previous month. Which equation gives a total number of customers C subscribe to the company's newsletter M months after January 2018, where M is less than or equal to 24. So 7% greater means you need to divide the 7 by 100 and add 1. Okay? This becomes 1.07. And do I see a 1 point? Yes, I do. So B. Because the canonical formula for exponential formula is you have an initial value times some b to the power of t. And in this case, my b is 1.07 here, and my initial value is 1300. So it would be something like this. The scatter plot shows the relationship between two variables x and y. A line of best fit is also shown. For how many of the 11 data points does the line of best fit predict a greater y value than the actual y value? So let's see. This is the line of best fit, and I want to see like how many this line of best fit has predicted greater than the actual y value. So anything below should be counted. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6. In the figure, RT is equal to TU, the measure of angle VST is 29. So VST is 29 degrees. And the measure of angle RVS is 41 degrees. What is the value of X? So here's the trick. I can immediately calculate this angle because since the angles have to add up to 180, so if I say x plus 41 is equal to 180, I'm sorry, this should be y, x, just to avoid confusion. So y plus 41 is equal to 180, so my y here is going to be 139, okay? Now we're given that RT and TU are equal to each other. So the triangle RTU is an isosceles triangle. However, I need to figure out this angle, which can be done easily because I know the angles of U, V, and S. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to add 139 plus 29 plus U, which is equal to 180. Now I want to find the angle of U. So U is equal to 12. And since UTR is an isosceles triangle, angle R is also 12 degrees. Now we can solve for X. What is X? X plus 12 plus 12 is equal to 180. Okay? So if I solve for X, it becomes 156. So 156 is the correct answer. Okay. How many solutions does the given system of equations have? So as you can see here, I want to equate the second equation to the first one. So what I have to do is multiply 2. So for all of this. So it becomes minus 12x plus 14y is 36, the first equation. And the second equation is minus 12x plus 14y is equal to minus 36. Notice how these are the same, but these are different. You can't have this. So what this means is that there are no solutions to this given system of equations. So 0 is the correct answer. The expression 0.35x represents the result of decreasing a positive quantity x by what percent? Be careful. It's not 35% because this is a trick here. When you say percentage decrease, don't forget this formula. So what this means here is that this is equal to 0.35. So we have to solve this, right? So all we got to do is multiply 100. It becomes E is equal to 65. So 65% decrease. So D is the correct answer. Please, please be careful of when you're dealing with percentage increase and decrease. Objects R and S each travel at a constant speed. The speed of object R is half the speed of object S. Object R travels a distance of 4x inches in y seconds. Which expression represents the time in seconds it takes object S to travel a distance of 24x inches? Okay, so we have a relationship here. VR is equal to VS over 2. Okay, and VS is equal to 2R, 2VR, excuse me. And I know that my object R, dr, travels at a distance of 4x, and the time tr is equal to y seconds. And I can express the VR as dr over tr because the formula for speed is distance divided by time. So I'm going to say that VR is equal to 4x divided by y. Okay. Now I can plug this into this formula here. So Vs becomes 2 times 4 times x over y, which is 8x over y. Okay. Now I want to find the time Ts. So this is going to be ds over Vs. So we're given the distance of 24x, and we know our speed, 8x over y. So this becomes 3y. So B is the correct answer. The graph shows a linear relationship between x and y. Which equation represents this relationship where r is a positive constant? If I see a line here, my what I would do is immediately get the slope. So we have 6 and 2, so rise over run. And since it's a decreasing linear function, the slope is going to be, uh, hold on, -3. And since for this case, we know that when x is equal to 0, y is equal to 6. So we can do like this. Let's move to 3x over here. And let's see on the right side, we have all these 36's, right? So all I have to do is multiply all of this by 6. So it becomes 18x plus 6y is equal to 36. So we can tell that immediately A and B are wrong, and C is the correct form. So in this case, R is 6. So for question 25, C is the correct answer. Hmm. Tricky question here. A sample of certain alloy has a total mass of 50 grams and is 50% silicon by mass. The sample was created by combining two pieces of different alloys. The first piece was 30% silicon by mass, and the second piece was 80% silicon by mass. What was the mass in grams of the silicon in the second piece? So I know that x plus y is equal to 50. And since the silicon is 50% of this mass, so what's half of 50? That's 25. Now, the first piece was 30% silicon, and the second piece was 80% silicon, okay? Now, if I solve for this, um, you'll get x is equal to 30 and y is equal to 20, okay? And I want to see what the mass in grams of the silicon, the second piece is. So it's this guy here. So 0.8 times 20 is equal to 16. So B is the correct answer. The product of two positive integers is 462. If the first integer is 5 greater than twice the second integer, what is smaller of the two integers? So we have this here. I'm going to substitute x for 5 plus 2y, so it becomes 5y plus 2y squared, which is equal to 462. It's because like I have something like this. And then it becomes 2y squared plus 5y minus 462, which is equal to 0. And I'm going to go ahead and solve this. 2y, y, and 33 is 14. And I have 14. I'm going to ignore minus 33 over 2 because it says an integer. We're looking for an integer. And it also says positive integers. So between minus 33 over 2 and 14, 14 is the positive integer. And if I plug the 14 here, so 14 times y is equal to 462, y is equal to 33. So between 33 and 14, what is smaller? 14 is obviously smaller, so 14 is the correct answer. Okay. Moving on. The bar graph shows the distribution of the number of walnuts per container for 20 containers at a grocery store. How many of these containers of walnuts contain exactly 78? So over here, 7. So B is the correct answer. The line graph shows a probability of a snow as a percent at a certain location for each day during a 4-day period. According to the line graph, for which day during this 4-day period is a probability of snow 30%. So if we draw here, it's Thursday. So C is the correct answer. The graph of a system of a linear equation and nonlinear equation show what is the solution to this system. So I see an intersection point here, right? When I say solution to like two lines, two equations, I want to see the intersection point. So it's going to be minus 2 comma 6. So B is the correct answer. And two lines intersect at a point. If W is 136, what is the value of Z? Um, these two angles are the same because like they intersect like this. So 136 is the correct answer. Which expression is equivalent to here? So 19x squared. What is 19 times minus 7? That's 133. So A is the correct answer. The parabola shown intersects the y-axis at the point x. So what's the value of y? So when x is equal to 0, y is equal to 7. So 7 is the correct answer. If 2x plus 3 is 9, what's the value of 6x minus 1? So 2x is equal to 6. 6x is equal to 18. So it's 18 minus 1, that's 17. So yeah, 17. The scatter plot shows a relationship between two variables x and y. Which equation is the most appropriate linear model for this relationship? So immediately, this is an increasing slope. So A, B, C are immediately wrong. D is the correct answer because I want to see equation with the positive slope, and only D has a positive slope. The equation shown gives the estimate amount of diesel D in gallons that remain in the gas tank of a truck after being driven X miles, where 0 is less than X and less than equal to 0 is less than equal to X is less than equal to 480. What is the estimated amount of diesel in gallons that remains in the gas tank of the truck when X is equal to 300? So just put the 300 instead of X here. So what's 16 minus 300 over 30? That's 10. That's equal to 6. So B is the correct answer. For the given linear function g, which table shows three values of x and their corresponding values of g of x? So this is just plug and chug. As you can see, if you plug in 0, the g of x should be 4. So B and A and D are immediately eliminated, and C is the correct answer. I usually go for the easy values since if you have 0, obviously it needs to be 4. So that's how I like pick the answer choice. But yeah. The pressure exerted on a scuba diver at sea level is 14.7 pounds per square inch. For each foot the scuba diver descends below sea level, the pressure exerted on the scuba diver increases by 0.44 psi. What is the total pressure inside exerted on the scuba diver at 105 feet below sea level? So you have 14.7 plus 0.44 D, and D is 105. So put that here, and you get 60.9 here. The function is defined by f of x is equal to 4x to the power minus 1. What is the value of f of 21? So we're talking about this. So if I put 21, it becomes 4 over 21. So C is the correct answer. The area of a rectangle is 57 square inches. The length of the longest side of the rectangle is 19 inches. What is the length in inches of the shortest side of this rectangle? So LS is equal to 57 because length times width, that's equal to the area of the rectangle. The longest side is 19 inches, and we want to see the shortest side. So 19S is 57. S is equal to 3. How many yards are equivalent to 77 rods? So 77 rods, okay? And you have one rod and 5.5 yards. Okay, so what's 77 times 5.5? That's 423.5 yards. How many distinct real solutions does the given equation have? So we want to please remember this. So when b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, we have two real solutions. When b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0, we have one real solution. And if b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, then we have none. So b squared, so negative 12 squared minus 4 times 1 times 27. Let's see what this value is. And 144 minus 108, which is equal to 36. So it's greater than 0, right? So 2. We have two real solutions. For the linear function g, the graph of y is equal to g of x, and the xy plane has a slope of 2 and passes through the point 1, 14. Which equation defines g? So A is immediately wrong because if I put 1 as x, it does not give me a 14. B is correct because if I put 1, oops, sorry. B is not correct because if I put 1 here, then it becomes 4. So C is the correct answer. Because if I put 2 times 1, that's 2. 2 plus 12 is 14. And yes, this is what we're looking for. The graph gives the estimated population Y in thousands of a town X years since 2003, where 0 is less than or equal to X, X is less than or equal to 5. Which of the following best describes the increase in the estimated population from X equals 0 to X equals 1? So for 17, the estimated population at X equals 1 is 1.5 times the estimated population. Yes, because let's look at 6, and this is 9. What's 9 divided by 6? That's equal to 1.5. So B is the correct answer. In March, the price of a collectible card was $15.5. In April, the price of collectible card was $17.36. The price of the collectible card in April is P% of the price of the collectible card in March. What is the value of P? So in this case, what we have to do is we have to multiply something to 15.5, and that's equal to 17.36. So x is equal to 17.36 divided by 15.5, which is equal to 1.12. And since this is in percentage, we have to multiply the 1.12 by 100. And you get 112. So C is the correct answer. The given equation relates the positive numbers a, b, and x. Which equation correctly expresses a in terms of b and x? So we're trying to say a is equal to something. So I'm going to go ahead and divide the b plus 9 here. And this becomes 8a. And we also have to divide this by 8. So B is the correct answer. Line J is shown in the xy plane. Line K now shows parallel to line. What is the slope of line K? Since it's parallel, all we gotta do is find the slope of this guy. So 9 minus 5 over 1, which is equal to 4. So 4 is the correct answer. A line segment that has a length of 115 centimeters is divided into three parts. One part is 47 centimeters long. The other two parts have lengths that are equal to each other. So just a graphical visualization. What is the length in centimeters of one of the other two parts of the equal lengths? So we have 2x plus 47 is equal to 115. If I solve for x, so we have 115 here. So you have 2x is equal to 68, x is equal to 34. So 34 is the correct answer. The given equation relates the value of x and its corresponding value of p of x for the function p. What is the minimum value of the function p? So p of x, if I rearrange this, is equal to x squared minus 57. And this is kind of like a parabola shape, shifted 57 units downwards along the y-axis. So minus 57 is the correct answer. So B is the correct answer. The table shows two values of x and their corresponding values of y. In the xy plane, the graph of the linear equation representing this relationship passes through the point 1 over 7, comma a. What is the value of a? Okay, so here's what we can do here. First, we need to find the equation for this line. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and calculate the slope. All right. Okay, 4. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and use this equation. So I have my two given points here. Oops. 52. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my 1 over 7 here. Y is equal to 4. Okay. So what is 1 over 7 minus 7? Then is 4 plus 52. So if you do all the calculation, you'll get something like D 172 over 7. Rearrange it to this form, and then you can go ahead and put the 1 over 7 inside the x. Okay. D is the correct answer. The graph of the given equation in the xy plane has a y-intercept of r, s. Which of the following equivalent equations display the value of s as a constant, a coefficient, or a base? Now, these kind of problems. Do I see a common factor here? Yes, that's a 2. So what I can do is y equals 576. I can pull the 2 out and then write it as x plus 1 here. So what is 576 squared? That is 331,776. And I could keep this x plus 1 here because this means that the function has been shifted 1 unit to the left on the x-axis direction. So A is the correct answer. B, C, and D are all wrong because I see this and this, which is not represented as like a constant or a coefficient. The reason why B is wrong is because clearly I could factor this 2 out and have its own like x plus 1 here, but I don't know why you would put a 4 here when clearly you can actually simplify this to x plus 1 to show that the function has been shifted 1 unit to the left x-axis. Okay, if k minus x is a factor of the expression minus x squared plus 1 over 29 and k squared, where n and k are constants at k is greater than 0, what is the value of n? Okay, so ideally, what I want to, since we have k minus x factored out, and notice like this formula here. I want to create something like this. However, we're given that k minus x is a factor, and I could go ahead and write this as well, k plus x. However, in order to like satisfy this um, condition with this one, what do I do to n? Well, obviously, I need to have n equals 29 because the 29s cancel out and becomes minus x squared plus k squared, which is equivalent to k squared minus x squared. So D, 29 is the correct answer. Okay. In the figure, LQ intersects MP at point R, and LM is parallel to PQ. The lengths of MR, LR, and RP are 6, 7, 11 respectively. What is the length of LQ? So I'm going to go ahead and redraw this. So we have 6, 7, and LR and M, and we have Q, E, 11. I can find the relationship between QR and LR because these guys are similar triangles. So I'm going to go ahead and say X here. So X over 11 is equal to 7 over 6. So X is equal to 77 over 6. And I want to see LQ. So I would have to add LR and RQ. So 77 over 6 plus 7 is equal to 119 over 6. So D is the correct answer. What is the sum of the solutions to the given equation? So what we got to do here is uh, we're going to go ahead and uh, solve for this. So it becomes 5x plus 35 is equal to 15. And what we're going to do here is 15x squared. And then this is 5x plus 35. And 15x squared. And then I can divide everything by 15, so it becomes, and if you solve for this, uh, what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to do since it's asking for the sum of solutions, I can go ahead and discard the whatever the square root is because it's gonna cancel out. So all I gotta do is I only need to find what minus b over 2a is, and it's gonna be 2 times 3, so 31 over 6. You could either write it like this, or you can write it like, sorry, the, I meant to like, because like you can cancel this out, and here, I'll write it. I'm sorry, my bad. So we have one solution that is, we have another solution that is, if we add up, these two go away, and we are given with minus b over a. So this is equal to minus 31 over 6. I'm sorry, 3. And you can either write it as 31 over 3, or you can write it as 10.33. That's how you get the answer. Thanks for watching.